Ladies and gents, Florida Man Football, we're back.
Sir.
As always, brought to you by our new sponsors here, Happy Dad Seltzer.
Dad.
Johnny Cinco, what's the new commercial this week?
This week I needed to take it to the next level. You gave an okay commercial there last week, but I think this week the dad goes into the kitchen. He goes to grab a Happy Dad from the refrigerator. The wife comes by, takes it from his hand, slaps him in the cheeks, and says, "Thanks, Daddy." That right there is marketing gold.
Happy Dad, you decide, but we know, I think, already which one they're going to pick. Streaming on all major platforms, so do please like, share, and subscribe. Florida Man Football,
Yep.
We are back. And Johnny,
Yes,
we have a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
A Super Bowl in the next couple of weeks coming. We'll get there, Johnny. We'll get there. Always Speedy Gonzalez. But look, we gotta put a bow on this NFL season, on the playoffs in general. And I guess let's start with the NFC.
Okay.
Let's start with the NFC, where the Seattle Seahawks, with Sam Darnold, year one, go in and punch their ticket to the Super Bowl. They beat the Rams, the legitimate team, a powerhouse in McVay and the Rams team. Any thoughts on this game that happened, and on Cooper Kupp getting the better of the Rams?
I mean, the Rams, they made up pretty well. They needed to do, I mean, they paid him so much. I'm not blaming them for that move. At the end of the day, you got to give props to Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold showed that he is a good quarterback. He was the guy that everybody thought he was when they drafted him, but unfortunately for him, he got drafted by the Jets. Then he gets drafted by the Jets, of course, horrible coach, ownership, coordinator, shipped off to Carolina, another horrible franchise coach, coordinator. Then slowly he goes to the Niners, goes and gets with a really good coach, learns some things here. Then goes to another good coach in Minnesota, and it really shows that Minnesota made a huge mistake by not re-signing him. He goes to the Seattle Seahawks. McDonald goes ahead and takes the Seahawks, takes Darnold, and then the Super Bowl. He matched Stafford, something I didn't think was going to happen. I thought for Seattle to win, they needed to make defensive, great plays. The Rams needed to make a bunch of mistakes, but no, Darnold and Stafford, 3 touchdowns, 300-plus yards passing. He matched them.
Yeah.
So props to Sam Darnold. It's my biggest takeaway. You have to tip your cap to the kid. A lot of people wrote him off. It's going to happen when you get drafted by the Jets, but that kid made an all-time comeback.
Yeah, and I think it's a testament, Johnny, to the real truth here when it comes to professional sports. And actually, you know what? When it comes to anything, high school, college, at the end of the day, I think it's so important how a system comes together with a quarterback, with a player, whether it's defense, whatever it is. It's the system that you're in, the coaching that you have, and how that all works together. Because it's time and time again. It's Sam Darnold, it's Baker Mayfield, even Geno Smith, when he was in the right system, had better success. Remember, look, perfect example. The guy revitalizes his career in Seattle, gets money with the Raiders, and what happens? He implodes. So to me, it's just another testament that sometimes you got to give these guys another look, put them in the right system, and see if those things kind of gel together. I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, of course.
It makes you think, though, about all the times when you call somebody a bust. Would they have been a bust? I mean, besides Jamarcus Russell is a bust. But other players out there, like, if they would have had another opportunity, or a third opportunity, to your point, Sam Darnold, a fourth opportunity, to find success. I just, maybe it's something to think about when you see the quarterback carousel that is, because I could name probably about 5 quarterbacks right now that I could maybe see getting another shot and see what they do.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying,
Yeah.
Chris, but at the end of the day, there's certain in athletics. We're talking, you can argue that in business and anything,
Yeah.
but specifically we're referencing athletics.
And in the quarterback position, right? There's so many quarterbacks that did not do well their first go around.
Yeah, there's certain guys. Like for me, this thing on the top of my head, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. I don't care where they go, that guy's going to succeed. Are they going to have the same level of success?
Right.
Is Tom Brady going to be Tom Brady
Right.
with the Browns? No. But I still think the way that guy's wired, he would have found a way to be successful. Sometimes you catch lightning in a bottle and you maximize your potential, maximize your success.
I'm kind of going back here, but I'm talking about like the Matt Leinerts, the Brady Quinns.
Oh, of course.
People that now you think hindsight, man, what if they would have been in the right system, drafted by the right team, given another opportunity? That's what I mean.
You feel bad for any team like, the Carson Palmers, who honestly, that guy should have won a Super Bowl, but he got drafted by the Bengals. Burrow is another type quarterback. No matter where you put him, he's going to succeed as long as he stays healthy. He brought that scrub team to the Super Bowl. And I think that Burrow is good enough to win no matter what. But if Burrow was on the Ravens, if Burrow was on the Bills, Burrow was on some team, I think multiple Super Bowls would have happened. But the Bengals, it's an uphill battle. Doesn't mean he can't get to the pinnacle of the mountaintop, but it's not going to be as successful as when you have an outstanding ownership. If you have outstanding coach, you have the front office. All those things, obviously, we see are the most important,
Yeah,
especially
absolutely.
when you're referencing your quarterback and what he's going to do for your team. So props to Sam Darnold.
Yeah, absolutely. And man, it would just be a icing on the cake or a bow, if you will, if he were to win the Super Bowl. Like hypothetically speaking, when you have the like the handful of quarterbacks, the MVPs that haven't won. I mean, with Jackson, right? Just to name one, there's so many quarterbacks out there that still have yet to make the Super Bowl, let alone win one. The fact that Sam Darnold, after all the adversity, is just one game away is it's pretty astonishing.
Well, it is interesting that the 2018 draft class, if you're looking at Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Lamar Jackson, Allen, like a
Hmm.
little before, and he got there before all those guys.
Right,
Allen wasn't in that draft class, but before he got in there, Sam Darnold has a chance to be a champion
ahead of all of
before
them.
any
Yeah.
of those guys here. The window was supposed to be open for Allen. He's going to take it. Nope, it's Sam Darnold.
Yep. Now let's look at the other side, Johnny. I know you're foaming out the mouth with that jersey. Should have burned it a long time ago. The New England Patriots, with the easiest playoff schedule known in the history of the NFL, did in fact, with a backup quarterback with the Denver Broncos, ended up beating them with climate conditions being horrible as it is. Johnny,
Football
I
world.
hate, I can't, I hate the fact that I'm asking this. How did that game go?
Why are you hating so
That's
hard?
what I hate.
You know what? With Patriot fans, now obviously this is Florida man sports. We want success for all of our Florida teams.
Exactly. Yep.
Now, it's hard pressed, especially here in Central Florida, where we're from, to find somebody over the age of 30 that is from Florida. Me being from New England, of course, I'm happy the Patriots are doing what they need to do. And you're from Peru, but you still came here and decided I'm going to be a Buccaneers fan. So still, stop hating on the fact that I'm a New England Patriot fan. That's fine. So you got to look at this particular game. This really, the whole
I don't know
season.
where you're going with that. Okay.
Well, I'm just saying because
Uh,
you're referencing that I'm wearing a Patriot
uh,
jersey. I'm reminding our
uh,
fans that this is Florida man sports. But it's okay. Most of us are transients that come here, and it's okay to root for another team with the support, of course, because it's a great state of Florida to root for our Florida teams. But at
terrible.
most, we have our squad. The Patriots, Chris, the hate all season. You've picked against the Patriots every single week, with the exception of when they play the Jets and the Raiders. That's it. Every time else, you're like, no, you called this team to win a maximum of 5 games this year. You said 3 to 5 games. That didn't work out for you. And then you got to look for the excuse, like every Patriot hater does, and says, no, easy schedule, easy schedule. We just went through the number 5 defense in the NFL, the number 1 defense in the NFL, and now the number 2 defense. And
Oh my
still,
God.
oh no, it's an easy schedule. It's not fair. It's not fair. Bunch of whiny babies. Whiny babies that want to cry and say it's not fair because they're mad that their team didn't get to the promised land. We did. We beat everybody that's in front of us. I wanted the Tampa Bay Buccaneers into the playoffs. I wanted them in the Super Bowl, but they couldn't do what the Patriots did. And what's that? Beat everyone that's in front of them. The Bucks couldn't beat lesser opponents that were in front of them. Other teams couldn't beat lesser opponents. The Patriots did. They beat lesser opponents, and then when they in the playoffs, teams on paper are better than them. They beat them too. And you can cry all you like about how they won this with it. They won. I'll take an ugly one all day. So please quit your whining, quit your complaining. Just appreciate the fact that the greatest football franchise in the history of the NFL has found a way back into the Super Bowl.
Number one, I want to remind our fans that when some idiot says that the one franchise is the greatest of all time, that's just an opinion from one side of Florida man football. I completely disagree with that in every facet. Number two, I will say I will congratulate the New England Patriots because making it to the Super Bowl is no easy task. I mean, forget about the fact that you beat up a backup QB. Forget about the fact that you beat playoff Justin Herbert. We know how bad that is. And forget about the fact that you beat a CJ Stroud with a blindfold on. I mean, CJ Stroud with a blindfold on. We'll forget about all those
great
facts.
Defense.
Forget
about
forget. We're gonna forget about all those facts. Congratulations to the New England Patriots for doing what everybody else expected you to do against
Not
the
you
backup.
call them to lose
So
every
with
single
so
week.
with that being said, we will talk about in the next couple of weeks here at Florida Man Football the Super Bowl, and we're going to pick our prediction of who's going to win. But
Sure,
before
number
all
one,
that,
yeah.
there's still a lot. See, the football season's wrapping up, folks, but there's still a lot of things on the table for our Florida teams, including the coaching carousel, and of course everything that's going on with early free agency. So I do want to mention, Johnny, the Bills opportunity, the coaching opportunity is still available. Most recent news: Philip Rivers, after interviewing, decided to do something he's never done in his life before, pull out, and he just decided to pull out
Okay.
from being in contention for coaching, which I don't even know why you would interview. But at any rate, what are you thinking on the? Oh, and they confirmed, I should say too, that they're not going to go after Belichick. That's not going to happen. They confirmed that as well.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the Bills coaching vacancy, on Philip Rivers, and all that?
Well, Philip Rivers, that's a sensationalized story. Who cares? That's something that happened. Nobody really believed that was going to happen. I think one story that you missed that we have to bring up in this context, everything we're talking about, McCarthy gets signed by the Steelers.
Well, that's going to be
So, like,
yeah.
that's
I
something
want to start with
that's
them,
nuts
and
there. Like,
yeah.
so with the Bills vacancy, for me, I thought McCarthy was the guy. McCarthy will be the guy that's going to go ahead, who's done it before. Because what has Allen been doing? Knocking on the door. They're saying it's going to be, and what happens? Drake May, second year in the AFC East, goes ahead and gets there before Allen does. Now, Josh Allen, last year's MVP, a great talent. I'm really surprised that that's still vacant there. I know that there's talks of possibly the coordinator for the Jaguars, kind of really wanting that job, pushing for that job. I never thought. I told you, Belichick is a stubborn dude. He wasn't even trying to. He thinks he's going to make it work in North Carolina. The fool. He's not. So who's available right now? What's going to happen there? The fans here would love to see some guy like Gruden. That's not going to happen because everything in litigation. It's going to happen with the NFL. So really, right now, it's going to be a coordinator. I think right now it's a very good possibility that somehow the Jaguars coordinator, offensive coordinator, is going to end up being the Bills coach. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. That's who I think is the main. That's who I see maybe taking that particular job. You see anybody different?
No, actually, I you took the words out of my mouth. I completely agree with you there. But see, that's the whole point. That's kind of where I was going to go with. Where that's kind of sad. It kind of reminds me of the Cowboys a little bit when McCarthy left and they ended up going with the
Yeah,
coordinator. And it's like, why did you do this
yeah.
move?
Is that an upgrade? Is it
Why?
an upgrade?
Yeah, and now you have basically egg on your face, and it's supposed to be in my opinion, Johnny, a position that should be coveted right now. Coaching the Bills, especially with the record they've had over the last few years, that's
Yeah,
a big deal.
it
And
is.
the fact that they're struggling like the Cleveland Browns is ridiculous. That's another mess. Did you hear about what the Cleveland Browns are asking people to do?
Yeah. Well, the Cleveland Browns are
But
delirious.
you heard what they're asking to do?
Remind the fans of what's actually happening.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the Browns apparently, if you want to interview Johnny for the Browns position, by the way, if you want to get an interview for coach, they're going to send you an essay. You have to write, why you want to
Oh,
be a Cleveland Browns coach and show your approach, and then like take a lie detector test and do all these other exams just to see if you're worthy of being the coach
the
of the Browns.
level of stupidity.
And so I don't know. I want to get your thoughts on that, but it's kind of heartbreaking to see that you got Josh Allen in the prime years here, and you don't really know what you're doing at coach, but you were quick to fire the statistically speaking top three coach in the NFL
Um,
win loss wise.
you can top five. I'll give him top
Come on, I
five.
mean,
Still
yeah.
the guy that I still think we talked about this that the firing was warranted. He had his opportunity, had his window, and he failed. I think it definitely. I'm not arguing that, but you can't make that move unless you think I got somebody lined up. If anything, you hold on to him for one more year on a very short leash, hoping the year after you get Tomlin in there. But you don't. You quickly fire him without really thinking. You can't make a move like that without having a plan. And clearly, since that's still vacant, the Bills didn't have a plan. They're just like, I'm going to get somebody else. And just going with somebody else isn't always the best move, especially when you have a talent like Allen. You can't waste any more years with this guy. And unfortunately, it appears that they are. I mean, did you make a move? Did you do what the Bucks did years ago and offer draft compensation to get a great coach? Did you try? Are you doing something insane? Because if you're going to make that move, then you're calling. You're offering draft compensation for a good coach. You're calling up the Minnesota Vikings and saying, "Hey, I'm going to give you a first rounder for your coach." You're calling up whoever you think is going to make that going to move you to the next level. or you already have that guy lined up. And clearly, the Bills, that's why they keep falling behind. They make moves without a real plan, and it's showing.
Well, remember something that I said, talking about the Bucks, and you mentioned them, we're high level right now, but I mentioned there was like 9 vacancies, and we were in people, not me. People were complaining as
Yeah.
to why we don't fire Bowles, and it's like, no, it's not the time. With 9 vacancies, why would you want to do that? And talking about the Bucks now, man, look at it this way. Now you've got McDermott, who's more likely going to take a year off. You got Tomlin, who's more likely going to take a year off. You
Mhm.
got Gruden, who's more likely going to take a year off. It's a great time to be a Bucks fan, and I have no problem saying this. The pressure's on Bowles. Produce or you're done, and that's pretty awesome knowing that now you don't have to. With all these 9 teams that you're competing with all of them this coming year, it's going to be a little bit less of vacancies next year. At least you hope so, anyways. And if that's the case, either A, we're going to be in the playoffs with Bowles, or B, we're going to fire him and have a great selection of of coaches ready to come back.
Well,
So it's exciting. I think it's a good move by Light, and sometimes you got to call it for what it is. Good job, Bucks.
well, I mean, let's move on and talk a little bit about this McCarthy deal here. McCarthy gets
Sure.
signed by the Steelers here, and we made our points with everything that's happening with the Bills, but McCarthy going to the Steelers, um, it's a bit of a head scratcher for me. Even though I like McCarthy, I can understand the move and one point, but at the same time, it's a head scratcher because I thought you're trying to get away from what you already had. So, do you like that move? Is that a move that you think that's you make without guaranteeing that Rodgers comes back, or what are you thinking with this?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, Rooney saw his team for what it is, and it's a team that can compete now. And I think that he believes it's a team that can compete now with or without Rodgers. It's clear. It's clear though that they want Rodgers. It's clear. He's obviously said it. Now he's putting his money where his mouth is, and this is a move for the Steelers that I like. A lot of people are making fun of him. They're comparing the records and all that, and I get that. But listen to this: Tomlin, Chuck Noll, right? All these coaches prior were rookie coaches. They're rookie head
Yeah,
coaches. This is
first ever,
yeah,
first time head coaches that stayed with the team for years.
yeah, and I've been a fan of McCarthy. I have. I've going back to not to beat a horse here, but going back to what I said earlier. Sometimes it's about the right situation, the right system. And here McCarthy, after taking some time off, gets a chance to win another Super Bowl, I believe, Johnny. So no, I think it's a good move, and I think that next year, I know it's very early, but I see the Steelers with or without Aaron Rodgers having a path to making the playoffs. If something that Sam Darnold showed us this year, if you have nothing to take away this. In the right system, you don't need a quarterback to be there for 3-4 years, right? Yes or no?
Correct.
Right. So in the right system, anything is possible. That's all I'm saying. I like the move.
I understand that, but one thing that I've noticed over my lifetime of watching football, and we just saw it here with the New England Patriots, but we've seen it with plenty of teams. Guys, you need 2 consecutive losing seasons, get 2 consecutive top 5 picks, and obviously you have to hit that pick. It's primarily the quarterback, and your team is right back in it. We saw examples where it didn't exactly happen that way. The Jets, they went ahead and drafted Mark Sanchez, and he
Yeah.
rookie year, outstanding, great year, went to the playoffs. They didn't get his help that with a top 5, top 3 pick, and you saw what happened. It's just like a one-shot wonder. So what happened to CJ Stroud. Like, okay, hey, great, and it didn't work out. I think this recipe here for a lot of teams that need a quarterback like the Steelers, and I get Aaron Rodgers, legend, Hall of Famer, but the Steelers really need 2 horrible seasons, and they're right back in the Super Bowl contention. We see it with the Dallas Cowboys when they started everything with Troy Aikman and Emmett Smith, everything else here. Every franchise, for the most part, there are exceptions, but every franchise that rebounds from just an abysmal so many years, they need 2 consecutive horrible seasons, and they're right back in it. And the Steelers, they keep flirting with that, little obviously over 500, just get in the playoffs, and they're never really getting that, that draft position so they can turn the franchise around. They gambled with Pickett, it didn't work out because where did they draft him? Those are Hail Marys. And in this draft class that's coming up next year, Chris, where Archie Manning's going to be in the mix, you have, the quarterback from Oregon who's going to be in next year's.
Yeah, he's
You
coming
have
back. Yeah.
so many different, quarterbacks, and who knows? Nobody saw Mendoza coming this year. There's going to be somebody else is in the mix, and a team like the Steelers with McCarthy, is really going to hope for at best. Yeah, you're going to get in the playoffs. Maybe you may win the division, but can you really tell me that McCarthy gives them the opportunity to win the Super Bowl? I don't see it. I could be
I do.
wrong.
I do. I think I think he's a mind for it, and I respect his game. I mean, we'll
I
see.
do.
Yeah.
I do. I
Yeah.
respect the game,
Yeah.
Chris. I just it's hard for me. We can't sit here and say lose, lose, but when you're trying to rebuild, you really need the Patriots needed consecutive 3 and 14 seasons to get to where they were. They went ahead and drafted their heir apparent to Tom Brady, finally worked out, and they went ahead and got his protection. And I still having that high draft pick after every single round really helped transform. And really, nobody saw the Patriots coming. I expect them to win the wild card and get into the playoffs and compete. And they're well ahead of schedule because they were fortunate enough to make good drafts, but had that draft position. And I don't think McCarthy, I think McCarthy's a good coach, Chris. He's too good. He's going to get this mediocre team to the same level that Tomlin did. And then that's not going to help them in the long run. And I don't think they're good enough, even with McCarthy, to win the Super Bowl next year.
Well, I think that overall, we'll put a pin on this because we'll see how the games play out. I think ultimately, when you look at the teams that have missed out on coaches like the Bills, you can't really knock the Steelers for what they did. I mean, we're talking about the Browns and how terrible nobody wants to work for them, and how the Bills are going to end up going with somebody in their organization. You got to give the Steelers some type of credit for pulling McCarthy,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, all the positions are basically filled except those. Looking around the NFL, Johnny Cinco, Florida Man Football, we are streaming on all major platforms. Just want to talk about some of the news that's kind of popping here and out in the NFL
Mhm.
as we get closer to the Super Bowl. Let's talk about Sanders. Just recently, now he's a Pro Bowler because of
How?
right, and so Trevor Lawrence is not. If you look at the stats as an example, Florida Man Football here always want to talk about our Florida teams. I know you started with how, but why? like
Well,
like how do we get here? Why? And is the Pro Bowl even an award worth receiving
no,
at this
it's
point?
no longer relevant. I mean, I get it. It's basically changed to flag football, and the only reason, yeah, I'm joking about it. The only reason he's in that mix is because nobody wants to be in it. So obviously, Drake May is going to Super Bowl. He's not in it. I bet you they called and say, no, no. They got a lot of no's before they finally landed on fine. Get this kid out there. He can get some ratings. And maybe he'll do something. He'll take it seriously. He wants to be there. But to name somebody a Pro Bowler is an all star. Pro Bowler is like you're at the top of your game at that position. And to go ahead and give him that, hey, good for the kid. I'm sure he has a bonus he's going to get in his contract for being named to the Pro Bowl. But it really just takes away, like we've seen all season, Chris, in the NFL,
Yeah.
takes away the integrity of the game. It's a joke. The NFL, as much as I love it, I grew up watching it, can still continue to, but I've really lost a lot of respect for the NFL this year. The gambling nonsense, the obvious, Vegas calls, things are happening here. I don't want to say that. I hate to kind of allude to it, but the hell with it. It is what it is. And you see something like that. Why are we surprised, Chris, that they went ahead and just did away with any type of integrity with the Pro Bowl by naming a kid who started 6, 7 games, who didn't really have some flashes, but the Pro Bowl? Are you kidding me? I don't get it.
I mean, they let the Patriots in the Super Bowl, so definitely I agree with everything you said.
I'll take
And
things losers say for 500. I would.
and other news, Johnny Cinco, as we try to put a bow, actually not put a bow, but talk about what's going to happen here with the Super Bowl. The NFL season's coming to a close. The
Yep.
NFL draft, we know the draft positions. Um, eh, for our Florida teams, I just want you to name one position. One position. We don't got to go into just one position that
Okay.
each team should
Sure.
address with their first round pick. You ready?
Okay.
Miami Dolphins, first round pick, go.
Quarterback.
Quarterback. Tampa Bay Bucks, first round pick, go.
Uh, Corner.
Corner. Jacksonville Jaguars, first round pick,
A running back.
running back.
Etienne's gonna be gone. Etienne's gonna be gone. This is last year. He's not gonna be here. Then now it's time to go ahead and establish that back. There are a lot of good backs in college. They're gonna. I know people's like in the first round. Yep, they're gonna have not the highest pick there. So in that position there, I can think of some names, but we'll get to that
I,
show.
I, I love that you said running back for the Jaguars. I can't argue with cornerback at defense, but when you said running back, you know what I started to think about? Walker. You know how Walker got kind of benched with the Seahawks, and now he ended up what's his name? And he ended up getting hurt.
Charbonnet.
Charbonnet, and then Charbonnet ended up getting
Charbonnet.
getting hurt, and now Walker's got it again.
Yeah.
The guy's 25 years old. I got a man crush on Walker, man. He's going to be a free agent.
Draft them every year.
He's going to be a free agent this year, and I'm just salivating for the Bucks. If we're not bringing back White, which is according to what we're going to be doing, man, Jason Light, if you're listening to Florida Man Football right now, I mean, watch Walker. I wish they would have lost so we could stay healthy and prime, but now we're going to get to see him for the Super
Don't
Bowl.
worry, he's going to lose.
Okay, he's going to get primed for Super Bowl. He's expecting some decent money, and the Bucks were finally coming out of that Brady debt. So fingers crossed for Walker, hopefully being a Buck. I don't want to get too ahead in free agency, but
Well,
definitely got a question on that guy.
exactly. I understand that, but you guys need more help in the secondary.
Oh, of course, yeah. Well,
So yes, ideally, I mean, listen, if you can go ahead and still, we talk about drafts.
yeah,
So drafts, you can still draft the corner you need and go ahead and sign Walker.
exactly,
Go ahead and
exactly.
have Walker and Bucky, but still with you guys have a lot of holes to fill. And I don't know if the Bucks should go ahead and waste any capital on that position, on the running back position.
No,
Where
absolutely,
that's
absolutely.
that's that's the dilemma. It's there's gonna be teams that are gonna pay Walker, even though the running back position isn't paid like it used to. There's still somebody's gonna pay him more than the Bucks. So he's gonna have to want to stay in Florida. We'll see. Can happen.
Let's put a bow on this one, Johnny Cinco. Now talking about the Super Bowl, we will have an episode I think next week before the Super Bowl, anyways, a little bit more detailed. But for now, very high level, Johnny Cinco. High level, you've got the New England Patriots going to San Francisco. That's where the Super Bowl is going to be held this year. Seattle Seahawks and Sam Darnold, who is winning the Super Bowl.
Oh, you want to call it right now?
Yeah, who's winning?
I mean, Chris, what happened the last time the Patriots faced the Seattle Seahawks?
It's very tough to say because a lot of people fell asleep.
We saw what happened.
A lot of people fell asleep during that.
One of the greatest Super Bowls of all time. You got to be kidding me.
Lame, boring.
So it wasn't. You saw Brady do a 90-yard drive to go ahead and take the lead in the fourth, and then obviously went back, and then Malcolm Butler intercepts in the goal line. Amazing. Every Patriot fan knows it. You see Malcolm Butler, you buy him a beer on spot.
Mm-hmm.
No questions asked here. Listen, Sam Darnold had a great story. It's a great story. It worked out great. The Patriot defense are playing the best football of the year, and they're doing it in the playoffs. They're going to continue to do it. Sam Darnold, great story. It's going to end in the Super Bowl. It's going to be a tight game, good game. It's going to be the same result. The Patriots, same way Tom Brady, second year, wins the Super Bowl. Drake May, second year, wins the Super Bowl. It's like it writes itself. Clear the defense is going to win this game. And the hate you get so many times. The Bucks win the Super Bowl with a tremendous defense under Brad Johnson. And now the Patriots, same tremendous defense with Drake May. And somehow it's like, oh, this is boring. This is garbage. But when the Bucks do it, it's amazing football. More amazing football, but from the Patriots. Great defensive game on both ends. But ultimately, the Patriots always force more mistakes from the other team, like we saw with your pick and Sean Payton being some great genius. Moron. They make the other team make more mistakes. It's going to happen again. Patriots win.
I just noticed, and by the way, after this, you got to, close the show here. Don't forget that. But you know how I'll basically ask was just for, who wins quickly. We're going to go more detail next week, but then you want to open Pandora's. You're going to open up Pandora's box. But look, here's the reality. Here's the real deal. And the fact of the matter. Fact of the matter is this. I said that whoever wins the Rams Seahawks is going to tell me who's going to win the Super Bowl because this NFL it's predicated on matchups. And you were on your soapbox. So let me
Please.
thank you. It's predicated on matchups and who you play. For example, the Bucks beat the Seahawks this year. Had the Bucks got a chance to go in the playoffs, we would be in the Super Bowl. And that's just a fact because we beat the Seahawks. That's a fact. We beat the Seahawks this year. I'll give you another fact. Okay. I'll give you another one. Had the Bills not been robbed and beat Denver, the Bills would have beat the Patriots because this year the Bills beat the Patriots. You see where I'm going with this, folks? This is all about matchups. The Bills beat them when it counts. And
no, they didn't.
Yeah, at the end of the year, yes.
They went
and
one
so
and one.
Yeah, but they beat them at the end of the year when it counts.
It didn't count for anything.
So it did. So at any rate, that's the thing. This league is predicated on any given Sunday. Anything can happen. Rigging, if you think it's rigged aside, it doesn't matter. But that's the truth. And so with that being said, this is matchups. And one of the things that I said is the Rams will beat the Patriots or the Broncos. Or whoever's going to, because they have the pedigree to do so. And in this game of matchups, they will win. The Seahawks, not so much because I feel like Sam Darnold's time is going to run out. He's not ready for the biggest game and so on. So I did say that. See, I stand by what I say.
Okay. So
what are you saying? Yeah. So keeping that in mind, Sam Darnold has now earned that pedigree. And so now in this game of matchups,
he's earned it.
Yes. Now in this game of matchups, Sam Darnold and the Seattle Seahawks are going to do the one thing that Eddie, Lewis, and everyone else can't do out there in San Francisco, and that is win in San Francisco. And that is why, that is the straw that broke the camel's back. And that is why, and only why, the Seahawks will win in San Francisco in 49er Stadium. And it's not going to be a close game, folks. I'm calling it right now, 2 weeks ahead of time. Talk to your bookie, get ahead of the game here. It's going to be by 10 or more points. This is not going to be close. I'm thinking a victory like the Bucks, when the Bucks, what the real Tom Brady did in 2022, when we beat the Chiefs, we manhandled them. And that's the kind of score that I see Seahawks win, baby.
Yes, when the Bucks manhandled
I'll
the
drink a happy.
Chiefs
I'll drink a happy dad to that.
with Tom Brady at the helm. Listen, guys, this is the same guy who predicted 3 to 5 victories by the Patriots. The same guy who called the Chargers to destroy the Patriots. Same guy who called the Texans to destroy the Patriots. Same guy who called every team except the Jets to beat the Patriots. What you're hearing is Patriot hate. And Patriot fans, we're used to it. We understand it.
Oh.
It's tough being the most elite football franchise in the history of the NFL. And so with that territory, of course, you're going to get this. It's okay. At the end of the day,
I'll let you close the show so that next week I can destroy you.
oh, that's fine. You do what you got to do. Study up. Do what you got to do on that. But clearly, guys, the Patriots. This is a team of destiny. It's going to happen. Seahawks, great season, great team. But we beat the Seahawks with the Legion of Boom, a better defense, and we beat them. This reminds me, this particular Patriot team reminds me a lot of Indiana. Just everybody crying about the Indiana Hoosiers who just won the national championship. I know that you were confused. So they didn't play anybody. They didn't play anybody. They go into the tournament. They wipe the floor with everyone. And still, they didn't get the credit. They go into the Miami, in Miami, place Miami, and win the national championship. Tight game, great game. Very similar. We get no respect because it's not respect. It's just jealousy and hate. And so we're going to go into San Francisco, handle business, much like we did on our first Super Bowl against the Rams, against the greatest show on turf, against the reigning MVP, against so many Hall of Famers, and a nobody named Tom Brady comes in, only 150 yards passing, still wins the Super Bowl. Drake May's have a similar game, very efficient. He's not going to turn the ball over. And our defense, and Drake may not turn the ball over, and we're going to force turnovers, some mistakes by Seattle, because that's what we do, the New England Patriots.
If you think
number 7, gentlemen, number 7.
If you think his rants are bad, wait until you have to hear the what happened was rant. I'll probably step outside,
Sure, we'll
drink some more Happy Dad, and come back and listen to this trash.
You've been waiting to gloat every single week in the playoffs, and you have yet to do so. You just need to come up with more excuses.
The best for last, baby. The best for last.
Regardless,
congrats on the 31st pick of the NFL draft.
We will be enjoying next week's show, and we will be enjoying the Super Bowl with Happy Dad, because it's just an outstanding beverage. So we appreciate you guys watching and listening. Please tune in next week as we continue our Super Bowl spectacular, guys. Thanks, guys. Enjoy.